Disclaimer: the information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GANs processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
It's time for change to move into the real work of the universe. And it's time to understand that we use the matter state to reach the level of understanding of the soul of the man. Now you understand maybe why the Creator has sent His messengers in the name of whatever you have had. Is that they bring the ears, that it can be used when the time of the Messiah comes. They can teach the soul and the message, not to oppose, but by them understanding through those who have become messiahs, to give from their souls to these to elevate, the job is made easy. The school is there and the students are devotedly there. Then there won't be any fight between what they call the Muslims and the Christians. The lamb and the lion will eat and sleep in the same nest. The Christians and the Muslims will sleep and pray in the mosque, then in the same church, in the name of their souls, not in the name of religion that is used to create so much conflict for the benefit of those who were the hyperactive children. The time has come, the time of change is here. And as I said, my wish is my command. If it's your wish to see peace, the path of peace is laid very clearly. It's the soul of the collective awareness. By giving will create that position of change. No other thing. There is no pen in the soul of the man. And I'm sure once you go into the universal community, you will never see anything written but the balance of the fields of the soul of the existence. Try to be humble enough not to and you possess. Otherwise, you'll fall in the same path of the church and the mosque. This is what we promised, and this is what we have delivered. We have to understand the operation of the soul, and we have to understand the soul of the man is a star in the cosmos of the universe. If we compare the soul of the man and many of us, 7 billion in one collection, Earth is like a galaxy with so many stars. When we look in the depth of the universe, we see galaxies with hundreds of millions of stars in it. So is the planet Earth. It carries 7 billion beautiful stars, which are the soul of the man. Carries with it soul of so many trillions of animals, plants, and everything else. So if you look, when someone who does not see the physicality of the earth and its content, what do they see? They see a galaxy with so many beautiful lights shining, each one according to their strength, each one according to their position. An infant has a beautiful soul, so has the old man. To those who do not see the physical dimension of this planet, but they see the strength of the field, we are clusters of stars. The human race, every single soul, no one from a distance sees that's the soul of a fisherman, that's the soul of the cosmologist, that's the soul of the president. They all shine irrespective of the physicality. This is the magic. This is what the new science has to bring to man. When we look to our soul, we see nothing but a star in the other souls. And this is the break. This is the understanding. This is what all these teachings are about. Coming to mature to the next level, to understand in the deep space, the universe is the oyster for those souls who serve. Then man is ready to go into space. Then man is ready to become part of the universal community which has been promised. I never promised you heaven. I always promised you the elevation of the man to join the family. And now you have the key. It's you who has to open the door to understand, if I can raise the soul of these people or millions of other souls, that the physical life on this planet changes, then I'm worthy to be part of the universal community. To be there to serve, to expand, to be there, to be part, that in the cycle of life of universe, I become, in being part, I become part of the totality. When man reaches that point, a new dimension in the strength of the soul of the man will appear, which is beyond imagination of understanding of the physical life. It's the gate to the opening of the new life, in a new dimension, which is beyond imagination of what you might call a new beginning, a new cycle. Which that cycle carries with itself the origin of the creation of life in the universe and the universe. It's the elevation of the soul to serve become the key, not a throne of the physical life. The time is right. The time has come for the man to go through this process.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 418th One Planet, One Nation, One Race for Justice and World Peace here on Tuesday, February 17th, 2026. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation, Spaceship Institute Education Department, and part of the public teachings in English. My name is Rick Cremond, and I'll be host once again in this weekly series of workshops. And once again, we are joined with members and support members of the Universal Council who are ready and willing to present today's program. So without further ado, let me get that started, and we will begin with Moshfek, I believe, who will do the intro.
Hello, everyone. This is Moshfek representing Bengali language as a Universal Council support member. Welcome, everybody, to today's One Nation, One Planet, One Nation, One Race meeting. And today, we are in a position to explore a frontier which we know about, but I think time has arrived for us to step into it, which is exploring our connection, our direct connection with the Creator. And today's meeting hopefully will encourage all of us to move in this direction or dimension. And in order to do so, one of the things that we must do is be aware of our own soul, through which the connection is strengthened as we apply our ability to use this connection with the Creator. It doesn't happen in one day, not because the connection is not there, but because it is covered up with so much programming and conditioning that we have been all subjected to over the years. And so, I mean, sometimes the doubt creep in our mind that why should we do it? The best way to answer perhaps would be for the love of it, for the love of the Creator and all its creation. So it's a wonderful opportunity and experience, and why not do it? So with that invitation, I start today's meeting and welcome everybody to participate and enjoy. And when the moment arrives, participate in the very best of your ability, and I'm sure it will be a wonderful experience. Anyone else wants to add anything to it, or shall we move to this next step? Thank you.
Happy New Year to the Chinese community.
Sorry, what did you say, Stefania, about the Chinese community?
Happy New Year.
New Year. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
because it's their New Year. I think it's today.
And the Iranians are celebrating their New Year next month, I believe, isn't it? On the 21st, is that the Iranian New Year?
Yeah. I mean, this is going to be a really great year. I mean, this is what Mr. Keshe said in the last workshop, that this is the year where he will deliver the system like never before been built, is a very unique system that will have all the plasma technology in one system. So it's a cosmic ray system. So he will deliver this year. Yeah, I talked in the last workshop. Yeah, but we're gonna talk this
Yes.
more later.
Yes, as he said, he's going to be using those cosmic rays. And as indicated, the astronauts are a soft target for these rays and fields, and so is the man. And apparently, the soul of the man is going to be influenced by these rays. But of course, if you want to reject it, you can. As Mr. Keshe said, if the soul doesn't want it, there's nothing you can do. These things are just tools. But certainly, we're creating a new environment of peace and kindness. This is the kindness and peace revolution that's happening, and it's called a plasma revolution. As we said, we had the industrial revolution, we had the computer revolution, and now we're going to start to move into this plasma revolution. And again, sometimes those periods can take some time, but it's the energy dimension that we're exploring. That's what part of the Universal Council is. And of course, this is the World Peace Treaty offered to each and every one of us, not only the world leaders, to examine our own souls, not so much anyone else's, and determine how close to the Creator you are moving. And again, I was thinking about that. It's just our wish to be peaceful. Maybe we're not quite there yet. I don't know any angels or anyone who fulfills the 24 commandments all the time and hits them all every day, but it's our wish to be peaceful. It's almost like traveling to another country. Before you go, you make that wish. You're not there yet, and this is what we're sort of doing. We're just waking up the soul of the collective to start giving and wishing to move into that direction. And this is, again, between you and your soul. So I'll just read this. We as citizens of the earth, from this moment on, except to lay down all tools of aggression and war, we shall never think about getting involved or incite war or develop or use any tools of war on this planet or in space. And to this we all agree and swear with our nation, our territory, our council, our religion, our city, our town, our body, and a soul. And again, never think about getting involved or incite war. Well, a lot of times it doesn't have to be a physical war, although it could be, but we create the energies with our thinking and I think our speaking. Obviously, we think more than we speak, and we speak more than we act out in the physicality. But this is where I think, where he says in space, this is what's happening within our own cranium, and to wish good things for others, even if they've done wrong to you or you felt you've been betrayed or whatever. This is the idea of working in that peaceful dimension with your thoughts and with your words. And it's not easy, and I'm not there. I'm traveling on the same sort of fields that everyone else is traveling on. But this is our wish, to bring peace to this planet. And of course, as Mr. Keshe said, Musk had 50,000 of these satellites. We're going to create 9 billion satellites that are going to reflect the peace and love of the Creator. But it's first, in a way, making that wish to want to be more peaceful, or to have the soul show you maybe in areas that you haven't noticed that you're not so peaceful, and to bring you more enlightenment. As I say, the enlightenment and the peacefulness are certainly connected. The more you understand about this knowledge, this universal knowledge that is being brought through the Keshe Foundation, the more peaceful we all should become. But again, it's for you to work that out within your own structure, not so much the others. And this, of course, is what we see in many of the religion aspects, which Mr. Keshe is talking about, these taboos. They're all interested in everyone else's soul, and what about their own? They don't really address that. So this is what it's all about. And again, this is where science meets the soul of the man. So not only is this kind of a myth about the soul, but we're carrying the creator within our own structure. And as we heard in that intro, the essence of the life and the creation in the universe, but it's us who has to sort of break down that wall. And the soul doesn't hit you on the head with tablets, perhaps like Moses did, but it sort of interacts in a much smaller, perhaps a more weaker, and a very not so noticeable presence, as we know. But it's for us to investigate our own dimensions and how we relate to this World Peace Treaty, and to create that sort of dichotomy. Am I peaceful enough? Can I be more peaceful? What are the areas I need to improve? Can I improve my speaking to others? Can I improve my thinking of the way I look at others? And as he said, the breakthrough is when you get to see the others through the eye of the soul as just another star, and just as equal as you are, as I understand it. So anyone else want to add anything about this World Peace Treaty? But it's you that has to open that door and start to investigate for yourself.
Yeah, just to remind that this is the first things everyone has to sign to be member of the Keshe Foundation. So even to be a knowledge seeker or you have to sign this first. Is literally you cannot be part of the Keshe Foundation if you didn't sign the peace treaty.
Right, and there's a lot of systems, as Stefani was pointing out earlier. We know the game of peace and enlightenment is much more than a game. And of course, the sun has been perturbed. I think the earth's soul has been touched as well. And in conjunction with the universal community and the 3I, perhaps adding a little bit more energy, the modification of energies or fields on this planet is taking place. And again, it's usually a much more drawn out process, but perhaps this time, again, it depends on your cycle. How quick will it happen? You can say soon. If you're living a billion-year cycle, that may not be for another century. That would be soon. But for us with a smaller cycle, we think is soon in another week or another month. But as Mr. Keshe indicated, this is not a day job bringing this planet into a permanent peaceful condition. But certainly we're moving in that direction, even though events in the physicality are looking as if we're about to annihilate ourselves. And perhaps that's what they call going the hard way. To wake up, maybe you have to hit that wall a couple times for humanity to wake up and accept this technology and this knowledge, not out of the love for it, but out of the fear of perhaps even our own demise. And this has been voiced before. So again, it's a beautiful time. It's a new dawn, and this is the science of the plasma that's going to take over more and more of our understanding in the longer term. In the shorter term, again, we may have some issues, and some of the things that we're pointing out, many will take some serious exception with, and even perhaps want to inflict something on you for thinking that way, or stepping outside of the conventional box. But again, it's up to you. As Mr. Keshe said, let them kill us. The truth does not change. So thank you all for listening. Anyone else? Stefania, did you want to add any more?
No, we can go forward. I think you said everything.
Okay, well, thank you, Mark. And we'll move into an excerpt from the 629th Knowledge Seekers Workshop from last Thursday. This is about universal teachers and prophets. And I'll share that now.
Today's teaching kills a lot of taboos, and it makes you individually to do your independent investigation of your own soul and nobody else's. And then The most funny part is that you're 20, you're 50, you're 80, you're 100. Soon the shackles of the fields of this planet will release you in the dimension of the soul of the man. Where are you going to be? And what are you carrying from this planet? More killing, more destruction, or the love of the Creator in the dimension of interaction with the fields of His universe? And would your soul create another mayhem of the fallacies of the prophets for the new generation of your soul to understand that they are connected to the Creator and they don't need no charlatans in the name of ayatollahs, mullahs, priests, rabbis, and the rest? We don't say anything. It's you who have to understand. Independent investigation of your own soul, your own knowledge, and how, if now you understand there is no intermediary between you and the Creator, how you access the knowledge of the universe. Now you understand from the beginning what I tell you. We are the universal teachers and not prophets. Position of the universal teacher is far beyond, above a prophet. A prophet is there to make a profit. Teachers are there to give abundantly unconditional. How many times you went into the classroom in the university and the teacher shared his knowledge with you and he said, pay me for it? How many times you gone to school and every time teacher told you something, said, pay me for it? Teaching is the freedom of the knowledge and the beauty of the Creator in understanding the totality, the needs of His created. Man does not need prophets. Man needs to understand the process of creation. And this is what it is. Next time, when you see a religious man, put this in front of it and see how he reacts. You become antichrist, you're against Mehdi, and you're everything else because he cannot rob you anymore. Then the whole structure pivots on you and the strength of your own understanding of your own creation. And then if you understood this, you understand transmutation is the beauty of understanding the totality of the creation. Now, it has to be easy for you as knowledge seekers to see the structure of the creation. But unfortunately, on this planet, you have to live. You create something to keep your physicality busy. A job, something else, and the rest of it. Till your soul gathers enough energy that it has a value to connect itself independently to the Creator. That is the day of judgment. When your soul judges itself, I'm there to reflect the beauty of the Creator in me, that I can create more, that enjoy that beauty of understanding. Soul of the man which is tainted with killing will not go that far. Now you have to understand. Man and a woman. Soul and the soul of physicality. Creator and the man. Does not change what name you put on it. The two have to be in tune. The two have to be accepting each other's. Then it leads to creation of new direction, new life, new understanding, in creating new dimensions with it. In the ask yourself a simple question, and I repeat it until you understand. Did man needed prophets and magic to be connected to the atmosphere of this planet to create the rain? Did man needed magic to be connected to the rays of the sun? Did our sun needed magic to be connected to its central position of galaxy? Were there any prophet connected to any of these? Now, why that man needs abuser to connect it to what connected all these together and led to the creation of all these? If you do not need a prophet to receive the rays of sun, why do you need a prophet to receive the rays of the creator of the sun? Unless you allow yourself to abuse. Now you understand how close the teaching of today is with the intro which you listened, which was recorded years ago from the same teacher. This is why we are called universal teachers, because we understand the creation of the universe and we are not abusers. This is why Keshe Foundation has no temples, because it's not the religion. Religion means abuser. And those who abuse, they humiliate you. They abuse you for you not to understand, but they laugh at themselves. How easily we can abuse this. One day I'll give you an example how they abuse man through his lack of understanding. And now you understand how you've been abused. And I have tested, because you have to, I always said, to understand the man, we have to understand everything about the man. We come to these situations like Earth, and we become teachers, but you cannot become a teacher when you don't know. You want just to bring somebody something from outside and enforce it. You have to understand what's the culture, how you can transfer the knowledge to that culture that is acceptable to. This is why we taught for 13 years, 12 years, 20 years, and now we put the truth on the table. Because we have to understand the man. It's taken us thousands of years to bring the man to understand his stupidity with the name of the prophets, that now he can see the truth, because man chose to go the wrong way.
Okay, that completes our excerpt from last week's Knowledge Seekers Workshop. And let me get back to our presentation. And next we have what's called the wishes. And I'll remind our audience here that we'll have a full minute of silence after each wish in order for you to contemplate and implement the wish.
I just want to say regarding Rick, what you just showed us before was extract mostly from the first part of the 629, and it was a little bit connected to the introduction of Mushfaq, that where now we know that we don't need intermediary between us and the creator. And this opened a lot of doors, like Mushfaq was said in the introduction. And now it's now that we know, we take responsibility for ourselves, so we don't need to have somebody else to take responsibility for us. So now we can use the knowledge, like for example, of these universal teachers. Like there are many universal teachers. As we know, one like is Keshe. And we can take this teaching to really go deeper with the knowledge, and this knowledge will give us it's like if they put us in charge in the driving seat of a car. So and more the knowledge, it will through knowledge we can start experimenting, and through practice we get to know more and more. Like also Mr. Keshe will say in this workshop on the second part, when Maraness asked her about enlightenment, what is enlightenment? No, enlightenment is gain knowledge, and through knowledge, try to push a little bit more, go out of the box, thinking out the box, quindi creating, being creative. Definitely now it's time to learn to be creative and think out of the box, stretch our thoughts, and start to think different, try to do different things. And this pushing ourselves of thinking a little bit more different, or think a little bit more further, or try to see a little bit more further, this will help us to what Mr. Keshe said again, enlightened. So because as we think differently, we create things that were not there before, and then we create new boundaries, like Mr. Keshe said, and we can keep changing these boundaries. So nothing moves if you don't do nothing. But if you like experiment, like you're curious, you like to get more knowledge, you can change those boundaries and stretch always further. And we learned that now we have no limits, because if there is a direct communication between us and the creator, and we don't need intermediary, and we are like the creator, so we got no limits. What he can do, we can do. So it's open up a new possibility, a new way of thinking. So yes, so now we're going on the wishes. This is my wish, so I'm gonna read this one. Every time I read it now, it sounds a little bit strange, but the concept of this wish, I thought about this wish, but yeah. So we from the universal, no, for the universal creation, as one soul, feel the suffering of all existing soul. We are feeling the peace in each existing soul, and creating the condition of a new time, place, what created of the unicos, position, the unicos, and possession, the soul of the creator. Yes, I'm gonna leave a few minutes for the wish. Okay, this is Mushfaq.
Okay, we, the Universal Council, elevate the soul of the people of planet Earth for them to be able to connect to the Creator without any intermediary.
We, the Universal Council, elevate the soul of the people of the planet Earth for them to be able to connect to the Creator without any intermediary.
Thank you, Marinus. We already did that one. We'll go to the next one.
We, the Universal Council, elevate the people of the planet to engage through the game of peace and enlightenment.
Mark, I think.
We, the Universal Council, elevate all souls in existence present in the cosmic rivers of cosmic rays. Thank you, Stefania.
With the Universal Council, make condition for the whole structure around the Keshe Foundation to be supported financially and to have what they need at the point of need to bring total change. Maranas.
We elevate the soul of the members in the past, present, and the future of the Universal Council as one soul, as part of the totality of the knowledge of creation.
Mashfek, would you like to go ahead?
We, the Universal Council, give from our field strength to empower the world leaders to negotiate and sign the World Peace Treaty, pledging their nations to a permanent and everlasting peace on this planet.
Okay, thank you for those wishes. And next we have the connection between souls with Mark and possibly Stefania.
Okay, so the teachings are getting more intense in a way for you to examine this connection with the Creator. It says, join the soul of the man with the soul of physicality by speaking these words in this moment. I love you, my soul. I live you, and I love with you, and I adore you, and see what the soul will give back to you. And this is, he's saying here at the top, join the soul of the man with the soul of physicality. Is that what we heard in the creation of the Universal Council, that the lion and the lamb will eat and sleep in the same nest? Is this the electron and proton coming closer together? Is the lion the soul of physicality and the lamb the soul of the man? And we're trying to bring them together in a way, and again, acknowledge the soul in so many ways. And this is what we've built so much in the physicality. It's almost like having a small child and you're waiting for it to acknowledge you as mom and dad. But a year goes by, 2 years go by, and the child never speaks a word to you, never acknowledges you. But the soul is very patient, very loving, and it is there waiting for that acknowledgement, or for you to, in a way, adore the soul, or this is what the Creator is looking for as well. And we know we're carrying the soul of the Creator. So this energy dimension, this central energy, as he said, in the universe, we don't call it a soul, we call it the central energy. And just thinking, even a grain of rice has a soul to hold its structure, or a central energy to hold its structure together. And we're just sort of acknowledging, and as I said earlier, it's not gonna, I don't think it's gonna hit you with heavy stone tablets. It's more of a subtle, a slight impression. Maybe we can develop it, but that still small voice that sometimes speaks to you, I think this could be your soul, although it's sitting there, it's observing the physicality, but again, it doesn't come in and say, look, I'm here, acknowledge me and the rest. It's very patient and observing of what the physicality is doing, and hoping the physicality will move closer in position and behavior of the soul of the man, which of course is built on top of the soul of the creator. And as we know, we're already connected. We don't have to, we just have to accept the understanding that we are connected directly with the creator. Actually, we're reflecting the light of the creator. And so this is just for you, again, to start exploring that central energy. The physicality could come to a demise, but the soul will carry on. And if we learn how to work with the soul, again, we don't have to be a dust in someone else's universe, when we could have been the soul of the man and travel and explore the entire multi-dimensions on the way back to the creator. But again, no soul is lost, but you may end up in a different position until you understand and you learn more. So that's why we're opening this up, which of course, many of the places, as I was thinking earlier, most people, when they want to find out more about their soul, what do? They go visit a temple or a mosque or another sort of structure, a church or the Vatican, and they think this is where they're going to find more enlightenment about this soul, this sort of mysterious thing that everyone talks about, but nobody can find, not even Da Vinci, I guess, even though he tried. But this is the idea that we're being woken up to, that we have this central energy. We don't need any intermediaries or charlatans. And again, no one will be abused due to a lack of knowledge. As we see, a lot of the brick and mortar stores are shutting down. Well, again, people have taken a different path to order their products and things. And I think it'll be the same with these sorts of structures. We're not destroying them. We're just opening the knowledge of the man to realize who he is in the universe. And these structures will probably remain, as we've heard, as museums to see the way the religions used to abuse the man. And hopefully we'll learn more and more. But yes, once you have that a little bit of this understanding, I think you can go much more, and you don't need to take the advice from the others, as you're carrying the knowledge of creation and the full knowledge of the universe within your own structure as the soul of the creator. Anyone else want to add anything about this central energy or the dimension that's being opened up here?
Just very briefly, when you
Yes.
said I love you, my soul, later on when we're gonna summarize it, the 629, I love you, my soul, you know. Thank you, Rick. So and I adore you. In the 629, Mr. Keshe talk about this. It's about 2 hours on the teaching, and it talk about what does it mean falling in love. That what is that line that we have when that mark when the soul of the man and soul of physicality are in balance, or the soul of the man and the creator are in balance. Yes, but the bottom line is is that when you are falling in love, you feel that sense of satisfaction. So you are content. You're content with what you got. You're content with what you are. So that is very important for us to be able to because a lot of time we care for others, but we forget to care for ourselves. And that is still part of the stealing. You're stealing from your own self. So it's very, very important, because a lot of people give for granted, but many times we tend to think about other more than ourselves, and we help and we create more mess. And so to be able to help, or to be able to love someone, you will not be able to do it or truly do it in a proper way if you didn't learn how to love yourself first, or learn how to help yourself first. Literally, you cannot steal from your own self. So you have to fill up your own cup. And then when you find that balance from within, only then you will have more love, because the love is infinitive, no? We can produce endless quantity, but definitely everything starts from within. So by loving yourself, loving your soul, finding that balance, and then gradually you can then think about your family, then your neighbors, then your cities, no? Cannot be any other way. So I just wanted to
Yes.
put that point,
Yeah,
because
this is our
tend
closest
to
friend.
forget.
Yeah, this is our closest friend, and this is the one we steal from the most. You might think your closest friend is your hiking partner or the one you're married to or the rest, but apparently this is your closest friend, and this is the one we steal from the most. We don't understand it fully. But Mr. Keshe gave a very good example where he said it's almost like the soul wants to be acknowledged, as you say, adore you. It's like your little cat or dog who comes up and brushes you and wants to be petted, but you push it away. I'm busy now. I don't have time for you. And this has been our pattern. So when that brush comes along, maybe you want to investigate that a little bit more and acknowledge the soul. And as it says, see what the soul will give back to you. This is your closest friend, although we never were made aware of that. At least in the Western world, the soul was somewhere else, or we didn't know where it was. It was a big mystery. And now it's, as I said earlier, this is where science meets the soul of the man, and it can be explained in the whole process. So it's very interesting. And all created beings, from the creator to the soul of this planet, apparently have a soul or different strengths of souls, but they're all equal as I understand it. And this is the central energy that runs the whole structure. And so we need to, that's what the Universal Council is, to open up a bit of this dimension more and more. We're trying to understand it as well for ourselves. And then, of course, reflect it to the others. Go right ahead. Someone else?
There was a question in YouTube from Tender, and I think I'll put it, it's a good time to address it now because you've been addressing it in the last few minutes of discussion here. The question is, how do we connect directly to the Creator without intermediaries? And she goes on to say, I mean, everybody and everything we get in contact with is somehow or somewhat an intermediary.
But you go within. That's why Mr. Keshe focus. He really said a lot of times, I hope you now understand a little bit more about yourself. So we go, even in the workshop in the past, he mentioned many times about this GPS that we have inside us. So we have this instinct inside us. So everything we have is inside us. We don't need anything. We're complete. We just need to learn. We don't have the instruction of how to make the washing machine working, but we got everything inside. We're just learning how to use it. So the reason why you don't need intermediary is because you don't go outside. You're going within. You're going inside. You're going deep from where you come from. So to and how do I say that's why yes, you need to get to learn to know who you are. But first of all, you have to learn how to feel, because I think in the society of today, no, the generation of today, we don't know how to feel. We are numb, so we need to relearn how to feel. I don't know if anyone else wants to add as a question. Answer to this question.
I'll add a little bit. As we have heard that know thyself and you'll know the Creator. So soul is the image of the Creator. So as we turn our gaze towards our soul, the Creator is right there. So this is something that religions are not very open when it comes to talking about soul, because there has been concerted attempts to introduce intermediaries in these kind of setup. But as Stefania was saying, look inside, look into our soul. We don't have to go far. It's there. And why is it a bit difficult? We are accustomed to not acknowledging the existence of soul, let alone its capacities. And as we explore the soul's capacity to create, we are not that far from the attributes of creating, the attribute of creating just like the Creator. So by being creative or creator, we appreciate creative abilities. So acting like a creator, that we can create situation, create events, create events of magnitude we never thought is possible. But with humility, then we see the action of the Creator, and by that process, we become closer to the Creator. It's not hard, but it's hard in a way that we're not used to it, and things have been covered up with so many other things. So once we remove all this accretion, we don't have to look far. We are there. Thank you.
Yeah, creativity. I just figure out now, creativity. I didn't put together. I think Maranes wanted to speak. Somebody else?
Yes, I
Yes.
wanted just to add to what you said, that according to what Mr. says, we are all connected to that initial fundamental hydrogen, that we are all connected to the line of Creator directly. But how could we notice that? The thing is, how do we need understand, realize that God inside ourselves? The thing is, it's always there. It's just us, which are so much busy and polluted with everything around us, and the desires and running for achieving to desires, etc., etc. Work, family, ambitions, sadness, happiness. We forget to look inside us. And if we can, little by little, raise ourselves by doing good, thinking good, and talking good, we raise our soul to the level of power that then, with detachment of all these noises of everyday life, attachment to all these things which are so much important for us, because our soul is not powerful enough to create what it wants, then we cannot visualize, understand, realize God inside ourselves, which is deep inside. So it's always there. It's for us to run after it and to try to be in the level that we can realize God. If you are not ready and we try to see God or whatever, we just explode. It's like Like you look at the sunshine in 12 o'clock in the day. You just ruin your vision. Why? Because it's step by step and not all of a sudden. So there's always hope that if with right ethics, we can see God inside of us. And it's for every human being. I don't know about others. And I'm sure that it's the only logical response to me. And I wish all of us good luck.
Okay, I hope we answered the question.
I think so. That was very good. Thank you.
We can go in the soul connection, but even this one is part of the answer of the question.
Yeah, Mark has been talking about soul connection, actually, and I started to go there. Would you like to finish up your soul connection, Mark, or is it complete now?
Oh, the soul connection has been complete since the beginning, I think. And that's what Mr. Keshe said in this workshop. Ignorance creates belief. But how about if we reverse that? Maybe belief can create enlightenment. Remember that old saying, if you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. It's all the way you see it. So perhaps when we say, are we connected to the Creator? Certain people say we're not. Universal knowledge says we are. What do you believe? And again, we can be abused for this lack of knowledge. Mr. Keshe is sort of opening these taboos up, and we can openly talk about this central energy and so on. So we're already connected. And I brought up that paper the other day, Rick, where Mr. Keshe wrote an entire paper about you are a galaxy. But that was at that level of our understanding. Now, he said in this last workshop, you are a unicos. There's no separation between you and your creator. It's just us who's built up this, as it was mentioned earlier, the structure of the physicality to deny the energy dimension. But of course, this is our closest friend. So again, it's for you you have to sort of open it up and explore it for yourself. Even though, as mentioned, systems are changing on this planet, energies are changing, conditions are changing to make us more aware of perhaps certain knowledges we never had considered or examined or realized who we are in the universe. That was one of the main questions that man has always asked himself, who we are in the universe. What is our purpose of life, and is there other life in the universe? So all these, I think, if the soul is carrying the full knowledge of the creation and the knowledge of the universe, then this is where we need to tap in. But again, it doesn't appear so much always in the physicality. It's in this energy dimension, which again is the reality, as opposed to the physicality, which is more of a dream state in a way. But the energy dimension is the reality. We've been sort of having it backwards, where we think the reality is the physicality, because this is what we've been conditioned to: fear of loss, fear of death, and it's been used against us. So this is why it's important for us to establish this for yourself. As he said, explore it for yourself, not anyone else. So up to you and your decision and your belief. But the belief strengthens your emotion. The emotion is connected to the wish to the hydrogen to the creator. So based on your belief, things change. And the souls within each cell start accepting that based on the belief of the structure or the physicality, perhaps.
But this has been
Oh, yeah.
a part of being creator. If I'm a creator, everything I believe I will create. So this confirm even more the fact we're the image of the creator.
Right. That's why that thinking dimension and the speaking and the rest is so important. We haven't realized the importance of this because we are field creators or reactors, and the wrong thing can create wrong conditions, maybe for others. But this is the whole idea. We're all going to start reflecting. We were created to be perfect. We're not quite there yet, but this will be the end result sooner or later. Everyone's on a different sort of strength of reaching it and understanding of reaching it. But I think most of us are being sort of brought along. Again, the soul can reject it. As Mr. Keshe said, you can try everything you want, but if the soul is not wishing for something, it won't happen. The Ganses and the other systems are just tools, as he said. So it's important. This is your closest friend, and this will allow you to travel the spans of the universe if you can ride that soul across these energy fields. The soul of physicality in the place of the soul of the man, as I understand it. But if you wait till the final call or the final bell, you'll have quite a lot to learn about this process. And we still have quite a lot to learn. As Mr. Keshe said, think about how much we've understood and think about how much we have to understand. So again, even with the Creator, it's a journey that seems to never end. So welcome to the journey, in a way, now that you realized you're on a journey. Many people go through this life, they're born and they pass and they scratch their head, and what was that all about? We're actually quite privy to understand a little bit more about this whole process and the structure and how we're part of a much, much bigger, shall we call, entity. And you don't have to make any donations unless you choose to.
Okay, very good, Mark. Perhaps we can move to our next position here, which you also are responsible for, apparently.
What? Okay.
We can borrow your voice for a moment more.
I think it's what you also said in the beginning, the peace treaty.
Yeah, again, the Universal Council, this is a time where you can explore your energy dimension. You can take a nanosecond. You can play with it any time during the day. You become the laboratory now. But collectively, as Rick has in that beautiful background, I thought that was one of the products for sale on the Keshe Foundation. But as Mr. Keshe said, we're making a beautiful bouquet of energy fields at this point in time at 9 p.m., either CET or CEST. It's not a formal meeting in Zoom like we're having here or on Telegram or any on YouTube. It's just the soul, the collective awareness of souls of gathering at this point in time, and that we give from our emotions to strengthen and enlighten the soul of the world leaders, not the world leaders. Apparently, they're central energies, that those central energies decide to pick up those fields or emotions you're releasing and change a dimension within a dimension of physicality of the spokespeople. Again, the world leaders may be. So anyway, every day you can take part in this, explore the energy dimension for yourself. This is the dimension you'll use in the universe. So don't wait till you get there to start playing with these energies. And of course, you nourish yourself in this process as well. So you become, in a way, perhaps more peaceful and more enlightened in this whole process. As we understand, there's no giving without receiving, but we also understand we receive what we need. So it's just important to give. And this is what the sun does. This is what the Creator does. But of course, the Creator likes acknowledgement, apparently, as well. But this is not a day job. But the most beautiful part of this whole process is that nobody fails this test. Just like all those tiny flowers and big flowers in the background Rick is showing. Each has a different field strength. Each has a different energy. But combined, they make a collection or a beautiful field of energies that may be one of those fields, one of those rays, the soul of the world leaders will decide to pick up and use it to elevate that particular structure. So that's all we're asking you to do, but this is where the collective awareness comes in of bringing humanity must want to bring the change to itself. And this is why we're awakening this collective awareness of the souls to give, as Mr. Keshe said in that Universal Council video, give from your central energies, and this will create that position of change. He said no other thing. But we know there's other things in the background operating to perhaps bring the change about in a more rapid way. There may be a timeline that I'm not aware of, but there may be reasons this planet is being brought into the larger structure at this point in time. I know technology is one of the things they had to wait for, but there may be other functions in the universe that have lined up, again, for our structure here to join in a bigger structure. Even though we're part of it already, we're sort of in the backwater in a way, or like the naughty child who's put out in the garden, as Mr. Keshe has indicated. And then when the behavior comes in line, we can join back with the bigger family and enjoy the beauties. As he said, it's beyond the imagination of this physical existence of life in the physicality, in this new dimension, in this new life. So again, explore the giving aspect. You'll get what you need. And it just allows you to work in that dimension of energy, which again is right, I believe, between your two ears. That's the space, or that's the universe Mr. Keshe keeps referring to, as we can create any position and any location and experience that right within our own structure without even moving the physicality. I'm not there. I'm not saying I'm there. I'm on the same train, peace train as the rest, and hoping we'll arrive soon. But you could be part of that whole interaction. You say, I can't play a part. Yes, you can play a very big part. We're all playing, as Mr. Keshe likes to say, we're all carrying a very small corner of a very large carpet. But again, it's for you to decide to enter into the water. But come in, as they used to say, come on into the water. It's fine. And again,
Yeah,
for yourself. Yes, please.
yeah, but this is a nice practice for us that we can do every day, because the best things in life should be practiced every day. So
Yeah, I was
and
going to say, Savanya, if you go to the end of the 23rd Knowledge Seekers Workshop, I know Rick remembers this, the last 20 minutes, where Mr. Keshe says, let's have a teaching about learning to pray through your soul. And if you explore that a few times, I think you'll catch on of what's happening here. But it was the same back then, almost as it is today. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of change, but again, we're not looking to the physicality to confirm. We're just there to give.
yeah, and it's a practice that everyone can do. If you think each one of us is, every living being is a direction connection with the Creator. So each one of us can do this. Doesn't cost anything, and it actually empower all of us. We're from all over the world. I mean, I don't think we're aware of our potential fully, and this is one way to practice and feel it. In my personal experience, as more I practice, I can feel more. And now when we connect collectively, I can feel it. So, yeah, so as I said, doesn't cost anything. And it's something we can all do anywhere, anytime, any place. You can also extend this to all day. So,
Yeah, and I like what Mr. Keshe said, that we're opening up the mystery of the matter state of the entity to its energies, or central energies perhaps, but he did say energies, I believe. So this is the enlightenment in a way, starting to understand that the energy dimension is first before the physicality is created. So once the collective awareness reaches a certain point and they're giving to bring this change, we'll probably see a much rapid move of position, I think. But as you also said, it's a slow, in a way, gradual collective process. But you can take part in it. And as we saw on one of those keychains that was given to people that attended, it says you can, by participating in this, maybe not outside, but even inside, subconsciously, you'll feel good about the work you do, you'll feel good about the person you are, and you'll feel good about the difference you're making. remember, we're sort of banking ahead here. We're creating a structure that in the future, people don't have the conditions, the harshness of existence on this planet that we're all experiencing. And of course, there's a whole function of a one nation, one planet being set up as the game of peace and enlightenment to help the structure come into the physicality as well. So it's a much, much bigger work than we're privy to, I think. But we're part of it. And we're all part of it, as you choose to be.
Very good, Mark. Thank you. And I think that some people may feel inspired to become part of the Keshe Foundation, but in particular part of the Universal Council. And I have a video to play that we tend to play in this workshop, which is about becoming a Universal Council member. It's a couple of minutes of Mr. Keshe from the 576 Knowledge Seekers workshop from last February, about a year ago, actually. And I'll play that now, and perhaps you will feel inspired to become part of the Universal Council.
Just before you can start this new action, I just wanted to say that before soul connection, that's good that we take a second to put intention, to put some emotion, some belief that it is possible, intention that we are doing this, emotion that pushes, that waves to create something in the material world. So we add the wishes with intention, heart emotion, and that's where we potentially can create the future material in this world.
Okay, thank you, Marinus. Now I'll play the video.
There's something which I should have made announcement. As we are structuring in a new development of the Keshe Foundation, is worldwide application and implication. As we set up the structure for Universal Council, a number of Universal Council members have become old and they reach the age of 60, and they served during the 60 years. They are there till 61. They to run the functionality of the operation of the what we call energy dimension, the Universal Council members, if you want to become, please consider and let your soul decide of any languages around the world, as these will be announced very soon internationally, and we expect the souls to serve. And if it's from the knowledge seekers who understand the technology with dimension of the soul, you can apply for to be added to and become a member of the Universal Council. The Earth Council is appointed by the Keshe Foundation on the grounds of true structure of the nationality, understanding the culture, that there is no prejudice by physical dimension of the borders. And so if you feel your soul is there to serve humanity in expansion and the growth of it, just apply for it at the Keshe Foundation, or send the email to info@keshe.foundation, say I would like to be a member of the Universal Council. We receive this regularly, and now we going to expand this very rapidly due to what is to come and what is to be done. Thank you very much.
Okay, that's our excerpt from the 576 Knowledge Seekers workshop. And let me get back to our
I don't know if
program.
Mishwak want to say anything. I got a little bit noise in the background, so.
Perhaps
I'm
Safina
supposed
or
to do
Mashfaq.
this. I'm supposed to do this. Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think
There was
so.
me and my
Okay.
name. Your
Okay,
my
I'll say it. We invite you to connect with a member of the Universal Council to send your questions to be answered live each week and or the needs of the of your community. Thank you for joining us as one soul. Yeah, you can do this through the various Telegram groups that are available, and we encourage you to participate and make the progress that way. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mashfaq. Next, we have an announcement about news from the Keshe Foundation news from the 629th Knowledge Seekers Workshop. That is the last one from last Thursday. And you see, this is about 20 minutes. And it'll be Mr. Keshe describing some of the latest things. So let me get that lined up and here we go.
In respect to major announcements to knowledge seekers, we are looking for knowledge seekers for the immediate transfer who have expertise in plasma technology, gravity, and understanding of the lift and motion. If you work for organizations or you know people who work for organizations like NASA, Iranian space agencies, Russian space agency, or you work within CERN, we would like to employ you to join one of the most advanced labs in the space technology within the next 30 days. We don't want knowledge seekers for testings. We want professional scientists, professional engineers who have expertise in space technology, who have expertise in international defense, who have expertise in gas and distribution of gas and communication, wireless energy transfer. PhDs, university graduates, undergraduates from anywhere in the world. We are not looking for enthusiastic knowledge seekers. If you are researchers in agriculture, know exactly how to gather data and to make a project of it. We are looking for that caliber of people. You will be working within the structure of the highly developed structured research, and we offer initially 2 years guarantee employment by Keshe Foundation. Space technology, understanding of the plasma, gravitational lift and motion. Scientists at the level of CERN, because we know some scientists from CERN are on the move. We know NASA scientists are on the move. We are prepared to talk. And your employment starts immediately. Within the next 30 days, 60 days, you can move to position. You understand and have a good understanding of agricultural data gathering processing. We are looking for immediate employment. You send, as usual, your request, your understanding to info@keshe.foundation. We are looking for knowledge seekers with a knowledge of AI and computer programming and software. Very advanced level. Those of you who understand the work of cryptocurrency, those of you who understand the work of a network that can operate internationally. We are looking with the immediate effect of employment. If our team agrees that you can be part of and you have the knowledge you carry to be part of. We're looking for knowledge seekers who have a deep understanding and process of gas production, not in just ordinary levels. Everybody can mix, but we want those who have innovative systems, technologies for gas production. We offer 2 years guaranteed employment within the structure of the Keshe Foundation. If you have any of these or you know any of these, get in touch with us at info@keshe.foundation. You have to have qualifications. You have to be certified for what you apply. We are looking for advanced communication engineers, understanding transmission of the wireless, those who understand the work of the space defense technology. You'll be working in one of the most sophisticated space programs. Full employment for 2 years, and if proven to be capable, the contract will be extended. We are looking for those who can retail the products of the Keshe Foundation worldwide as resellers. You have to be able to support yourself to start with, and then the new products of the Keshe Foundation will be made available. You're responsible for that nation and what comes out of that nation. We already have in a number of countries resellers, but we're looking for resellers right across the world. In any country, any position, and you receive the same discounts. But as usual, you have to be able to pay for your products. You get orders, you sell, we deliver, and the usual pattern. We are talking in the resale of very advanced technologies which the Keshe Foundation within 2026 will offer into the what we call commercial part of the Keshe Foundation. If you're a knowledge seeker and you have agencies for things like electricity, gas, automotives, you have a car showroom, and you're a knowledge seekers, we are looking to invite you to join us for, as part of your dealership, to sell the new structure of the automotive to be delivered by Keshe Foundation in 2026, 2027. We start now that we have enough people around to be able to do. If you are head of an international company or organization which influences and have retail direction in different countries or in one country heavily, we are interested to establish a connection as a reseller with Keshe Foundation. We are ready to bring the Keshe Foundation technology across in a different way that you're seeing. This is one of the reasons we are keeping, reducing, and clearing out the stock as we are moving out of what we call process of retail into a totally different level. Any stock will be offered by Keshe Foundation in the new process will be at least 1 million items in a stock, which in a way can be repeated, can be delivered, not to be waited as has been, as we learn with your support. We rely on the knowledge seekers to support us to go through this transition. On 21st of March, we'll make an announcement which will change most of your lives in a very different way, but you have to register yourself through Keshe Foundation structures that you are here as part, as first stage. We still ban citizens of Belgium and Ghana to join Keshe Foundation in any shape or form. Do not use VPN, because when we ask for your ID, complete certification, and you are from Belgium, you'll be blacklisted forever to join in any shape or form, even when we draw the system. And the citizen of Ghana. You got to understand, Keshe Foundation in 2026 is becoming one of the major operators in energy, space, automotive, and agriculture. We will change this year everything that you are used to in the past decades, centuries, and a new understanding, which will come in line with what we have shown, we have taught. Then, as I said in the past few hours, we need, Keshe Foundation needs to bring in scientists, knowledge seekers, which can make new measurement systems that measures the strength of the field of the plasma of the universe and not mechanically generated. Then what you ask is actually what in past few days has been on my agenda, to find scientists who can bring new measurement tools. If you are instrumental, somebody who knows, can create instruments, we like to bring you in to work with us to develop systems which can measure the strength of the plasmas in the dimension of the real life, not man after interaction of. In the very near future, I wrote to one of knowledge, actually not knowledge seekers, but somebody who's trying to set up a structure of the production for Keshe Foundation this morning. We will release technologies as a commercial structure this year that man does not need no gas to buy and no electricity to purchase. It's not a solar system, it's a cosmic ray system, and our people are setting up and working to that direction. The only problem is once we release these technologies, they'll be copied heavily. And you got to understand, when you say sending fuel to Cuba or gas to another country, they can do. We've shown this to the same as now they're playing with the price of gold and silver, and we can produce tons of silver and gold, as you've seen in China last year. We have technologies we can produce as much gas as you don't need. You have technologies that can do lift and motions and the rest of it. This year, 2027, starting within the next few, literally handful of days, Keshe Foundation is setting out to bring the total technology of the Keshe Foundation under one, what we call workable unit. Our team, starting next few weeks, will set out to develop a system in that how we produce gas, which we have shown to the Chinese Gas Corporation in 2023, and the academician abused it. We've shown the production of the material in China. We have shown the production of water. Many of you went through our system and you were flooded and you created rains and everything else. We are integrating all the technology of the Keshe Foundation within the next few days, coming up weeks. That's why if you heard earlier on, I asked for your specialty. If you are specialized, you have a degree, professor, whatever, join us. A system that is a central integrated system, produces water, energy, lift, and everything else that can be handled by every nation. No one can boycott no one anymore. We estimate the first hundreds of thousands will be out within next year or two. When you make it available, it'll be there. It's not that we make energy to do energy. What happened to our energy gas system? The minute we talk about, so what happened to energy? You have to wait, because now it's becoming the knowledge of how we produced gases becomes the fuel of the space technology to move, and then how we manage to create carbon-14, it becomes the structure of building the structure, communication, and what do we call it, the rest of it. So it's like we built the radiator, the engine, the seat, the carburetor, and the cooling system. Now it's time to put the machine together. 2026 is the time when we put the whole of the Keshe Foundation technology together. And it's not a talk. Those who are around us, they know we have already started the process in a massive scale. And you will see coming up. Then do we need, can you boycott the energy, the line to carbon-14? Can you cut the energy to hydrogen? Can you cut the dynamic structure of the plasma to create the water? No nation can boycott no one, and the matter state will have no value. It's not something we talk about, because when you helped us to understand the work of the fields, the emotion of it, when we offered you different systems, now the communication system, all comes together. Now we're going to production of the most unique system man ever know. Do you need cars which have engines? Do you need going to Africa, digging out and bringing material to America to melt it, where you can produce the material 100% pure on the table? Then you understand why there's a need for cash coin. Nations, people will deal with each other according to the pleasure of existence, not the need of existence. Man should not work to exist. Man should exist to work to enjoy the Creator. And this is what we gradually put out. We done tests for years, and this year you will see. All the technology of the Keshe Foundation, all the parts of the car has been done, tested. Now we are putting it together to be assembled. Then can we boycott? And then our proposition is very simple. Our term, our finance terms, our technology terms, no need for governments, because we will be governed by ourselves in a very correct way. Nobody can steal. Nobody is more powerful than the other, because we all eat from the same pot. And the process for this has already started. It's not something we're going to stop. This year, next year, thanks to knowledge seekers who are creating the conditions for us, and the guidance we get from all the knowledge seekers around the world, which are setting us with us this structure, the financial gain, the material gain, all will come to a very nice halt, because it's not done by a corporation, it's done by the solar people. We see it, the birth of the cash coin, and now the peace game, the enlightened games, and the creation of the different technologies which all come together, and then gradually moves to the next step, which is the enlightenment of the souls of the man. This is one of the purposes we work this way now. With this audience, when we bring the souls, many of you are getting enlightened in different ways, is the story of the plasma. Slowly, man gets what he needs, that man become peaceful. This is one of the problems. And gradually we are moving in that direction. It takes time. Ignorance creates religion and beliefs.
Okay, let me go back to our program here. So now we have news about the new Enlightenment game with Mark and Moshfek and Rick. Well, guys, what do we have about news of the game?
I log on my game, Miss while you talking.
There has been a few changes in the last 3 days, I think. I think there has been some sort of throttling going on. Anybody else experience that?
Yeah, I think it's set up that way to limit your play to 100 visits a day. That may not be accurate, as there was an inaccuracy earlier about logging in and logging out. You would receive 200 FCCs. You actually receive 200 ACCs. I thought it was FCCs. So again, there's not been detailed instruction, but just play the game. Start to get familiar with the planet. It certainly is shrinking. And as Mr. Keshe indicated, there's hidden pulses or knowledges within this game that's going to bring about the part as a combination of the structure to bring peace, or man teaches himself to be peaceful just by playing this game. And of course, there's a financial aspect in a marketplace and an association that apparently, I guess you can play the game without being a member of the association, but any privileges that go with that association, you won't be. And it's only $1 a year to be part of an association. And this is part of the gameplay as well, that we can start trading and working as a one planet nation in a virtual way.
Marco, what's the difference between a full member and when you do the membership, they give you option.
I'm not sure. There's a supporting member and a full membership for as a minimum as $1 per year.
Yeah, what's the difference between the two? How people, I don't know how people can choose one or the other.
Maybe the supporting members will continue to increase their donations and be a regular. They can count on that support yearly. I don't know. Again, details sometimes are few and far between within the Keshe Foundation, that no one can interfere with our work, but it's released as needed. But yeah, MOSFET, perhaps there is some throttling. I know I've gotten stuck in Singapore and other places. I think even though I had the plasmas and the energies and the rest, I couldn't move. And Alex was saying on Sunday that there is a throttling of 100 moves approximately per day. I don't know if you experienced that or that's something recently. But again, it has a much, much bigger structure. Mr. Keshe indicated this is the biggest gift he could give to, or he's given the biggest gift to humanity that they could give. And of course, it's in its infancy, it's in its beta, and it'll be developed into an actual system or a big announcement. As he said on the 21st, it'll change whatever that announcement is. I'm not privy to that. It'll change many of our lives in a way.
So one thing that is clear, that now you're not limited to 2 visits per country. That is one thing that has changed, that you can see.
Yeah, it seems he wants to keep you embedded within the game, because if you're going to visit a country 35 times and it takes, depending on what level you're on, and it takes 2 minutes to wait there to move to the next country, and we have 195 countries, I think that's 400 minutes or 5.5 hours for one visit to each country if you were to play. So he wants you somehow involved with this game. Maybe not so much to collect or give resources, but what's embedded within this game. By just playing it, you become gamed in a way to the understanding of the universe and the peace of the universe. So it looks innocuous in a way, and maybe it looks oversimplified, as many of the structures that Mr. Keshe has built, as he said, with the Cup of Life, we made it, Cup 1, we made it look simple, but it's much more complicated than it appears. And I think this game has it's a reactor as I'm seeing it, but it's also our one planet, one nation, one race to start launching this. And and again, it's all about making the life less harsh on this planet. Not that we'll have heaven tomorrow, but over periods of time, it'll start to become less harsh to exist. As he said, energy and other things could be delivered through this system. So this could be your supermarket or partial supermarket. This could be part of your energy provider. This can be part of your wellness program and so many other features, and travel as well. So there's much more built into this, as Mr. Keshe said, with the car, or assembling the seats and the rest of it. This is just being put together, and you're all welcome to be part of this, as I understand it. And I don't think you have to sign the World Peace Treaty to be part of this. And even after the association's establishment, I guess it's already established, I think you could still play the game without being a member of the association. But once you find out what the benefits of being an associate member means, you'll probably, for simple €1 per year, you'll join. Again, I'm not fully briefed on any of this. I'm just taking what I hear from the others and what I understand myself. So if it would take you 400 minutes to visit 195 countries, and now if you want to multiply that by 35 times, that would be that'd be 180 hours to reach that. I think that's level 5, where you make 35 visits. So you would be embedded in this game a minimum, I would think, of about 180 hours, or 4.5 40-hour weeks. But you're limited, I think, because you can only make 100 moves per day. So think, as he said, it causes you to think and to create. I know I've been working on my enlightenment part, which is the hardest part, as Rick indicated, to bring up. And I've brought it up a little bit by landing on these books of wisdom and giving them to myself, which increases the knowledge as I understand it. And of course, some beacons have started to reappear again, and they're they're less demanding than they were. 20 points of energy and 20 points. And I use the books of meditation for that process as well.
Can you explain this one properly? I never understand it. What is the beacon?
Rick, MOSFET is aware of a beacon.
Well, there's one that shows up, I find, usually when I re-log in for the day, and it'll show up as sort of a personal plasma dispensary, and will give a gift or reward of one kind or another, usually either plasma or wisdom book or some other aspect that it just gives as a gift, basically. And
Yeah,
but that seems to be set up just for, like, when I'm gaming, it'll be for me personally, and I'm assuming it's the same for others as well. And that disappears as soon as I get that, land on it and click on it, basically.
and you fulfill it. It gives you a time of 3 hours or 5 hours to fulfill what you'd like to contribute, or if you have in your inventory the resources, you can contribute there. And I noticed the last couple times it appeared, I collected 25 plasmas for making a 20-point donation in energy and a 20-point donation in books.
But Mark, sorry. So
Yes.
which symbol does it have this? How do you recognize it?
It looks like a radio tower. It's rather subtle. And of course, when you see it pop up, if it does, it's again quite subtle. And you just click on it, travel there. And once your time has been elapsed, it'll say, would you like to contribute or contribute? And then you can make a choice, either move on or contribute something out of the resources you've collected to fulfill that. And the
I think I never saw it, or maybe
okay. I
maybe
didn't
I
see
think I
it for a
skipped
couple
once.
weeks. I saw it the first week a number of times. I fulfilled them partially, fulfilled them fully, and that at that point in time it was 150 books and 150 points. And as I said, this is one of the reasons I ran out of resources. But we built them back up quite nicely now, other than the knowledge, which is about lacking behind the rest. As Rick said, to find those books of wisdom to add to your knowledge, this is where you give to yourself to increase it. And apparently once you get to the 100%, you would move as a white light or something. But again, I'm just guessing, and this is just what I've heard, or maybe it's actually written in some of the different things there. But I'm sure we'll explore more in the Reactor group about this game. But this is the virtual one planet, one nation, one race, internal to the Keshe Foundation or internal to the association cooperative structure, if you're a member.
Well, Mark, I have my knowledge is 900%, but I still look like myself, so I don't know. It didn't work for me.
But you lost all your consciousness more than once, I heard. That's an inside game joke in a way.
Yeah, so anyway, I'm still waiting for the white light, so we'll see where it goes.
Well, as mentioned, we can definitely look into the aspects of the game in more detail in the Keshe Plasma Reactor group coming up tomorrow, starting at 7 a.m. and going through probably till noon in CET time.
Now, someone raised a question recently, Rick, I don't know if you want to answer it, or MOSFET. They said that they didn't feel comfortable traveling to these countries and taking resources from these countries because the country needed the resources themselves. But apparently this has all been mined out of the, again, virtually, out of the fields of the universe. So are we taking resources from a country that needs them, perhaps energy, or how does anyone want to address that? Or if the person who asked the question would like to.
Maybe they give you what they don't need. So wherever is available, it's what they don't need.
there is one aspect of the game that especially since you bring up the issue of energy, we have to kind of adjust our mentality a little bit. We come from this thought of scarcity, but when you have enough, how much do you collect and how much do you, it's a very different thing when you have energy everywhere. If you even think about food situation, we eat and it takes a long time to prepare and eat and all that, and then you feel weird after you eat a lot and all that. But if one has the option of absorbing the energy from the surrounding, what do you do? It's do you take energy and become like 1,000-pound person, or what do? You don't do that. We just take enough to be healthy reasonably, and that's it. So the game has this attribute. There's so much resources available everywhere. Does it belong to a country? Well, that's again a mentality of scarcity. If we can create gold from out of the field, is there any need for worrying about gold? So it's kind of like it's a very interesting shift. So instead of driven by scarcity, which affects our conduct becomes such that scarcity is no longer there. It's kind of like a very opposite way of thinking in a way. And this is one of the most intriguing thing about the game to me. Now that I'm fairly, I've done enough of the game, so I have enough of resources, and I don't really need anything. So, extra, but this is the thinking, and so we have to kind of adjust a little bit, our old ways to the new plasma way. These are some of my thinking and experience I'm kind of gathering from this game.
And also, when you think about it, the resources that we're talking about taking from other countries supposedly are not actual physical things. When you look at it, the books of wisdom, it's knowledge, it's wisdom. It's not actual physical books that are being taken from countries. Same with the meditation. Meditation is a technique. It's a process. It's not a thing that you can take from some country. You can learn, but it doesn't mean that country is missing it. Once you learn about meditate, you go to Tibet and learn meditation on the top of a mountain. The mountain's still going to be there. The guru that you visited is still going to be there. You're not taking anything from that country other than the knowledge that you can help impart to others. So it's a beneficial thing, actually, to take that kind of material. We look at the other things, the energy. It's not actual, bottles of oil or some other type of energy. We're not talking about kilowatt hours or some sort of measurement of energy in that sense. It's more of our personal energy. And you look at the list on the left, we can't see it on this image we have to look at the real game to look at it, but we have consciousness, knowledge, energy, and so on. These things are not really physical. They're of the energetic dimension. And I think Mr. Keshe has no doubt deliberately made things that way. So it's less of an emphasis on the actual physicality items. Although the end result might be at some point that somebody gets physicality items from our interactions in the game, whether for ourselves, for someone else, for some area of the planet that needs particular items, and so on and so forth. All that will get sorted out. But at this point, it's mostly energetic rather than physicality stuff. So in that way, are we really taking, or are we just kind of borrowing?
So we're not replicating the typical looting that goes on in today.
Yes, right.
Mhm.
It's different than the typical looting. Let's put it that way.
There is one thing I would like to add. If I was like showing somebody who is, starting to play the game, and she was saying, well, I go there and somebody comes and takes it away. And I said, do you get it sometimes? And he said, yes, I do get it sometimes, but sometimes, people come and get it before I can. I said, have you thought about the cases where you get it as somebody else who is more capable is exercising restraint? So she said, yeah, I haven't thought about that one. I only thought about the other people coming and taking. So, these are things that, once you have enough, if somebody is going there and if you can see it, well, maybe, I'll wait and let that person take it. And, it kind of shows the way our thinking goes. When we have plenty, we can shift our thinking from, well, somebody's taking it. Well, and sometimes when I get it, well, somebody is not taking it. Maybe it's a deliberate action on somebody else's part that I'm able to get it. And so this is a very kind of like a different way of thinking. And it will take a little bit for us to come to this kind of way of doing things, both in the game as well as elsewhere. So this takes some adjustment, but we're getting there.
All right, perhaps we can move forward. I think the next part is the knowledge and understanding from the 629th Knowledge Seekers Workshop, which we've talked about a little bit, but we haven't done the official knowledge and understanding with our video in the background. So
have you got any extract from the 629 to see?
We played the
It's the one after it's the second part, is the first question of the second part. I don't know if you had it, because I don't know if you had it or not.
question of the second part.
First question. I mean, I wanted to, I don't know how much time we got. I bet it's quite, because we can add in mind two pieces.
There's a video about the love and emotions from the 629th workshop.
Sorry, it might be. Yeah, if you can play
Maybe
that
that's
first. Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, again, this is about love and emotions from the 629th Knowledge Seekers Workshop. We have a hand up with Irmgard here as well. Sorry, it shouldn't be Irmgard. It's Irmgard.
Don't worry about it. That I'm used to all kinds of things, and I respond to most of them. I was the one that had put that question about taking from poor countries. I have a history of world wars and poverty in my family. And I also have a history of these days people telling me that I should take care of myself. And like, for instance, I have lots of problems with the computer and I keep asking for help and people say, just go look it up. It doesn't work for me because of the memory issues I'm still dealing with. It's gotten better, but so I'm in a quandary about taking things or accepting help from others or asking for help from others. That's where the issue really is connected to. Because I asked, like, from my daughter, I've asked from my neighbor, I asked from this and that person about help with my technology issues. And they help me once, and then maybe I ask again, and then I have forgotten again. So it's really an issue for me, receiving and taking. I give a lot. I mean, I help people a lot in all kinds of ways, but I have a hard time receiving. That's what the issue is around, and for asking for it. Anybody have any input?
But I'm not really good with computers as well. Hi, Ingrid, how are you? Nice to hear your voice.
Yeah, I'm again stuck in various different ways. And my computer isn't really always my friend. Like, one of them just burned up, exploded in my face, you know? So I guess I don't have a very good relationship, even on that level. But
have you tried using AI, like
no,
Siri or one of those things, and just asking it, how
like,
do I do this and this? And it'll tell you directly
too.
right back.
But like right now, I replaced that computer and now I can't use my printer. I'm stuck. I want to, every time I turn around, there's some obstacle. And I know that possibly it's just from my attitude, because I have come with that whole family tradition and the whole, scarcity mentality. And I don't have that scarcity mentality in some areas, but in some areas I do. And when Mr. Keshe says that we will learn according to our intelligence, that's another problem for me, because I have been losing my intelligence to brain fog and memory issues. And so it's really an issue for me.
Okay, I'll try to. Okay.
Go ahead, Moshe.
Somebody, I'll try to talk about, after the COVID scenario, several people came to me regarding memory issue. And one of the ways to address it is to do the breathing plasma, the breathing apparatus that we can create using cup 1 water. That's one way to address it. Try it and see whether it, do it in the morning when you wake up, and do it in the evening. And
I have been trying to organize the information. I don't even know how to download the transcriptions in such a way that I can use them. And
I'm
searching for
memory
things so that I can find where the breathing was. I don't remember that.
So I can tell you in here, I mean, you essentially create take a Coca-Cola bottles. You have to stick 2 pipes in it, one going to the bottom of it, and one
I
is
understand
right
that. Yeah. I was thinking the different breathing, like for different breathing patterns for.
The breathing pattern is rather simple. You breathe through that small shorter pipe, and and you exhale half the time through the nose, half the time through the mouth, and you do it for like, let's say 10 minutes in the morning and 15-20 minutes in the evening. And most of the people, I mean, I think all of the people, and it has been more than 10-15 people, all of them recovered their memory. And so try it, and it works very well from my experience. And many of them are like in their 20s, so they had, I mean, clear indication of memory loss. And some of them were a little older, but you know, like 5-6 of them were like in their 20s, and they recovered, and so it works. And you know, you do it with intention, of course, and all that, but it is very definite and very, I mean, I haven't had any case where it did not work.
Oh, good.
So,
yeah.
So try it. I did, you know, I don't know whether it's a bad thing I did today, because, you know, this is a public workshop. I just realized it. But, you know, but it's obfuscated enough to, you know, people don't know what.
Right. It's just a process that anyone can try.
Anyone can try, and, you know, and my experience has been excellent. So I didn't have any memory problem, but those who did, I mean, I was able to.
Okay, thank you.
So that's one, and I will, I mean, briefly touch on computer, because I come from that world, and you know, some of the things. Computer, one of the things that Rick was mentioning about using AI, that's one approach, and that seemed to, you know, you can start from a very basic question and get step-by-step guidance.
Yeah, I am also, I think, computer phobic. So,
well, I mean, you know,
because
it's kind of like, it's the same thing, like, you know, soul stuff, you know, sometimes we are soul phobic, you know, we don't want to explore too much about our soul. So computer phobia, think of it like the same thing, you know, if you know, jump in, you know, you'll bump into a few things at the beginning, but then you'll get comfortable with it.
Well, I forget again, so I have to relearn it again and again and again, and I don't know how I got there in the first place.
So you know, do the breathing.
I understand what you're going through, Ern, because
me too.
I've gone through that myself when I lost my mind years ago, literally, when I was overexposed to gasoline fumes, and I couldn't even remember my name for points in the next months after that, and even took years for my brain to fully recover, if it ever did. I don't think it ever did, but that's you know, it does take time, and you have to use kind of crutches along the way. I used to have to write down things a lot, because if I go into town and for errands, I'd forget totally what I was in there for, and even where I was going. And so I would have to remind myself with keeping a notepad with notes. I still, you know, do that basically, but you know, everybody has notes, I guess, that they carry. But
my whole place is full of notes. Then I can't find anything among the notes.
Yeah, well, that can happen, and that's part of organizing. And again, if you can find a way to work with AI, I think AI has a good future in helping people with organizing their mental clutter, basically, is what it is. It's like if you've got shoes all over your house, then you're going to be tripping over them, and it'll be confusing which shoes are where and so on. If all the shoes are in the shoe cupboard organized, then you can go and select the shoes you want, and it's a lot easier than trying to look for them all over the house and that kind of thing. So it's a matter of organizing our thoughts and our things, the things in our lives, and the including all the online things.
Yeah, that's what I'm working on all the time. I make start a little pile of one thing, one classification of things, and then when I have more, I forgot about that pile and I start another pile,
Yes, well, again, that's where you might be able to find a way, or in the future, they'll make it easier that an AI will help with that kind of thing. There's one dream of AI, an AI robot type of humanoid sort of thing that will help us, and it'll keep track of your socks and shoes or whatever it is you need to keep track of in your life, and that includes virtually everything. And as our lives become more complex and complicated, it becomes harder when you don't have that part of your brain that's able to remember all that. And
Right.
I think that's happening with a lot of people, especially after the COVID thing was mentioned by Mosfet.
And for me, originally it was chemicals, but now it's also electrical stuff. So being in front of the computer and on the phone so much is scrambling my brain too.
Yes.
And I do have all the butterflies around the house.
Yeah. And well, there's things, speaking of breathing, maybe going for walks during the day might help to get the oxygen into the brain, and or some kind of exercise and that kind of thing is important. Just basic brain health thing.
Yeah, right. Well, thank you for listening, and I'm glad there's somebody there.
There is one more thing.
Yes.
One more thing I want to suggest is that, we think, when you think about memory, we think in terms of brain. But brain is the physical side of us.
Yeah, I have a great emotional memory.
Yes, so
I have a great emotional memory. And when I was really in a hole with the chemical sensitivities, I switched to emotional thinking and cultivated that.
I switched to just being simple presence, I call it. Just being, trying to be in the present as much as possible. And without the brain wasn't necessary to be present in the present. That requires the soul, not the brain.
Exactly.
The brain is kind of secondary. So you learn from that position of presence, what can I do? Well, presence can't do that much, but it can pay attention. And that's important, to start from that position of presence and then try to incorporate the brain if the brain is willing and able, and that's optional in a way.
Well,
thank you.
The thing is that what I was saying is that the emotion part that you just mentioned is very powerful in you, and now if you can think about extending it even further by, let's say, connecting with the enhancement unit, not through any phone or anything, just by your intention, then you'll see that some of the things that you think is not possible is possible. Or remembering, one of it would be remembering things, because you will remember through emotion. And you may want to offload some of it to like the enhancement unit, and then you can connect anytime. So try these things, but with intention, and you'll see you will get results. And that's a suggestion you want to try. But think not in terms of your brain getting fogged by computer frequencies or any kind of frequencies, chemicals, or whatever else.
Thank you.
This is the frequency dimension, but energetic dimension is much more powerful. So if you can shift more towards that, you will see that you can even affect this side a lot more, and everything you won't get affected by, let's say, the electrical fog being near to the computer, because you are pushing energy from the energy side.
Yeah, what happened, if I may say one more thing, last night I was listening on the phone and I fell asleep with the phone next to my head. And when I woke up, I was totally scrambled, totally scrambled. But I found one of those gel face masks, and I put that on, and that massively helped for that. I'm back out of the scramble there. So I have to say that worked for me.
There you go. You found
Yeah.
another solution. That would probably be a good one.
Yeah, great.
Incorporating in Ganses. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm done. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, yeah, we have a video to play here, Love and Emotions.
Thank you, Rick.
Okay, it'll be about 20 minutes apparently, so 19 minutes. Here we go.
And greetings, Mr. Keshe, Rick, Universal Council, and knowledge seekers across the planet. My question today is in regards to the Hawkins scale of consciousness. According to the scale, fear and desire vibrate at 100 hertz and 125 hertz
Sorry, Nick, we don't
frequencies.
see any video.
Whereas you go up the scale, love vibrates at 500 hertz, bliss and peace at 600 hertz, and enlightenment is 700 to 1,000 hertz. Might one conclude that this scale is like a template of the pathway to enlightenment and the creator, and that pathway is through love and bliss and peace?
Hello, you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Did you hear the question, Mr. Keshe?
Yes, but can you clarify more? You must have thought a lot about this to raise such a question. It's a beautiful question. But
should we have a look at the Hawkins scale of
yes,
emotions or consciousness?
Yes. You bring that in the background and please explain more.
Yes, well, I mean, when I look at the scale, it starts kind of down at what they would call so-called hell or shame and guilt, and then the emotions, as you go up at higher, the frequency rises. And so, yeah, I guess I just thought that was kind of like almost like a scale of a pathway. We have to go through these different phases or emotions on what I would call the game of life even, to reach those higher levels of consciousness. And I guess the highest that you can get before enlightenment would be love, bliss, and peace.
Go back in understanding that what you see as a spectrum of the frequency has to have a resistance. The denser you become, the material become, or the emotion become, the higher frequency to penetrate. That's all it is. Frequency is a penetration strength, if you understand it that way. Why do we need higher frequency to penetrate into, let's say, enlightenment? And why fear has a lower strength, frequency? And then try to understand why and what fields of creator into the intermediary reaction to the fields of the creation position, and the strength changes to fear. Understanding that to reach to what you call initial frequency of the creation or a creator, do we go towards a zero? Or do we go towards millions in hertz? Then it comes another understanding why and what changes the frequency. We create these frequencies by the matter state machines. But is the frequency different if we use a plasma system? This is what I said in the teaching of a couple of weeks ago. Are you a ray or are you the wave? Then it brings you back to another point of the knowledge. Why they tell us enlightenment needs a higher frequency. And what brings physical reaction needs a lower frequency. Fear, being afraid of. Being loved is somewhere that partially is physical, partially is emotional. You go into 500. Then you have to ask yourself another question, is that the fields of the universe are all DC, have no frequency. It's the space of time, density of the fields that creates that frequency. And the frequency, if it's given the right environment, becomes a matter state of the time, place, and position. If you create the right frequency in a combination of frequencies, you can create fear. We do this now, the scientifically is done. But is the frequency of fear within the body of the man plasmatic or matter state created? Is frequency of fear inside the cell of the man, let's say 100? Don't think so. Man is measuring from outside, not inside the cell. Then it comes to understand even the aura. Does our aura dictates our intelligence? We never measured these things from the field point of view. This question raised for me a long time ago when, if you remember, the girl called Nella and the test we did with, in conjunction with University of Tel Aviv and Cambridge University about making the system and one writing the program for it some years ago in Liège University in Belgium. Are we measuring the emotion of the soul inside? Or are we measuring the what we call the field strength of the physicality of the brain that creates that emotion? This question was raised years and years ago for me. How come Faraday box works one way, and how come Professor Miles works the other way? It's the same material. What decides the penetration? What decides the frequency? When you pass through a material, you have to have a frequency. Why? You can make a Faraday box. And our knowledge is to answer this. We have made nano-coated Faraday boxes in our laboratories. We have a few of them. But do we need frequency to transfer through nanomaterial? Or if you produce because we nano-coat in the center is a matter, we need a frequency to pass that matter state to get to the other side of the nanomaterial. And then, at what position we can penetrate the cell of the man? Why, as you say, the fear is so easy to vibrate through the cells. Isn't it sense of survival, because when you have a fear, you run, you create a physical motion. When you have intellect, when you have love, you sit there and enjoy the time because you feel it as an emotion. You don't run like a rabbit out of saving the physicality. Why physical motions are sitting in the bottom range, and those of the emotional wavelength sit at the higher level? Man has created to be alert first to save the life. Fear creates reaction. Danger creates a reaction, because you have to save that physicality, otherwise there's nothing left for you to have the intellect and the love with. Man has chosen this dimension of the frequencies for the survival of the physicality. And when you look at the position of where the fear in the brain is, and then you look at the structure of it, you see the structure of the brain is different than where intelligence, emotion appears. Because with emotion and intelligence and enlightenment, you need to absorb the full spectrum of everything. Otherwise, you can't get enlightened. You just know one thing. You become a professor in idiocy. But when you understand everything, you're enlightened. And you have to understand the fear, the knowledge, the love, everything else. The higher frequency. And if you look at the structure of the brain, this exists more to the center than outside. The more physical dimensions of your brain, physical dimensions, fingers, hands, arms, control, sits all on the periphery of the brain next to the skull. We know that, we use it. The more important part in the structure of the physicality of the man goes more to the center. It's a copy. When you look at the structure of the brain of the man, I'm not a very good sketcher, as you know, over the years, the most useless painter. Your hands and your fingers are here. This is your ears. Your hands and fingers are here. Fingers are here. Hand is here. Your lower arm is here. Your upper arm is here. When it comes to your shoulder and your heart and everything else, you come to here. This is why when you have a heart attack, when you have a stroke, this goes paralyzed, because the energy from the heart hits this part, and this gets your fingers to twist and the rest. So the higher energy, the denser energy sits here, which carries the intelligence, enlightenment, because you need the soul. Your physical part, fear, to survive, to protect this, sits outside. Need the lower, because the higher literally is absorbed. And this has an interaction from outside, which interacts with the lower energy. Cold, fire, brings you fear, so you run. If you understand these things and analyze it in a true way, you understand why you need the higher frequencies. Because the higher is already filtered by the center. You get a brain of what do you call a lamb, and or brain of any animal, and you cut it. Cut it by feeling it, not cutting it, just cutting it. Let the knife drop in, and let's see how you feel the weight of the knife. This is why the brain of the man is different colors. Every brain is different colors. The density of these brains is like your liver, your kidney, you have the same thing, a structure here. It tells you how dense it is and what frequency it creates. And you see where does the denser part sits. It's here. I have tested, because you have to, I always said, to understand the man, we have to understand everything about the man. We come to these situations like Earth, and we become teachers, but you cannot become a teacher when you don't know. You want just to bring something from outside and enforce it. You have to understand what's the culture, how you can transfer the knowledge to that culture that is acceptable to. This is why we taught for 13 years, 12 years, 20 years, and now we put the truth on the table. Because we have to understand the man. It's taken us thousands of years to bring the man to understand his stupidity with the name of the prophets, that now he can see the truth, because man chose to go the wrong way. And the brain of the man is the same. I have tested many brains. You feel the emotion of the animal, which part is what. We make the structures to understand, and this is part of it. Then you understand why is the lower energy, because you have the lower frequency. Sit here, you have to protect this thing, this slot here. The emotion of love, where it's in the brain, where it sits. But even that, you have to understand the structure of physicality. Why you have that? Why do we fall in love? Why do we fall in love with different things? It's the most powerful emotion of love, which connects the soul with the physicality. It's in between. That's why it says in the 500 range. And most of the time, if you get it right, loving someone in the correct way is the best way and is the most correct way. Doesn't need physicality, doesn't need the soul. Creates its own dimension, which is more pleasurable than both. Man has not understood the gift of loving, and this has entangled, as I said, the creator of itself. Look at the range, understand it. You go from the soul, let me clean it out that you understand it. If you look at the, if you understand it, you're increasing the frequency this way. Fear, love, and then enlightenment. And from the soul, you go here enlightening the soul, and then you become more physical, you become the physicality. And somewhere into the balance. So this is your love. When you fall in love, it's the most beautiful feeling. Does not matter what you love, because you respect the existence, the physicality, as much as you respect the emotion of the soul. This is why we give up, because the emotion of the soul takes over our physicality. Doesn't matter, because we know we've got something much stronger behind us, which comes from the center. And the lesser dense, the deeper the emotion of the soul reaches. This is how the creator radiates. And when you come on the other side, the higher you come in, you need the higher values to penetrate through. If you understand what the frequency is, and you understand when you need a frequency to be. You need more energy to cut this than this. This is a free flow. You need to repeat it more. The phase of this is that much. That's its bandwidth. Phase of this. How many of these you need to cover this? Which means you need extensive material. But which way you go? And secondly, our systems are matter state still measure. We haven't measured the frequency in the plasma state. And this is why we have the what we call gas technology and knowledge of the light. I hope I answered you as best as it could be done.
Okay, that's our excerpt from the last Knowledge Seekers workshop. Unfortunately, I didn't have it on the correct sharings for part of it, so I missed some of the graphics that were shown about the Hawkins scale of emotions in particular, which we can see here, which was in the background up until Mr. Keshe started drawing. And I finally figured out we were not connected to the right sharing. In case we didn't miss that much. Okay, back to our program here.
Thank you, Rick, for yeah, this is really good part. If you can send me this one as well. Yeah, this is really good. So this is a 629. I mean, I know I said this every week, but it's another mind-blowing workshop. The beginning of the workshop, as we cover it already in this public teaching. We talk about already at the beginning with Mushfaq and Mark, where we don't need an intermediary, and it's all about that. The first workshop, the first part, where Mr. Keshe speak directly, specifically why we don't need intermediary. Where, like Mushkov said, where the image of the creator. So we just have to become aware of that and be able to start to use our body's full potential. But after the pause, you make this. We also cover this part where Mr. Keshe make this bigger. Which are your connection? I don't know if you need any, if you know any scientist. I don't know, knew Mr. Keshe, and he mentioned Ralph Rings. For who doesn't know, he was a student of Otis Carr, worked with Otis Carr, and Otis Carr was a student of Tesla. And Ralph Ring was really involved with space technology. I wish he was here today. He would be the perfect candidate to work with Mr. Keshe. And they did know each other already. This is what seems from our interview from Ralph Ring. He spoke about the Keshe Foundation. And actually, already in 2015, he said that Mr. Keshe, he would come out with a lot of good gadgets and tools to bring humanity to the next level, the next cycle. Plasma cycle, where finally we're gonna start to enjoy life. But we need to get there. So now he's looking for scientists. So if you know any scientists, if you are good with computer, no Ingrid, and me, but if you are good and you know how to connect with all these famous people, they are leaving a lots of videos in YouTube's about space technology. They should know. They should know that the Keshe Foundation now is ready for this project. And you heard the announcement. You heard Mr. Keshe, which is the plan of the Keshe Foundation, to bring this big change, to introduce this system. They're gonna put all the dots together, like he just said in the first part that we listen. And so we're gonna put all the puzzle together, and we're gonna create this system that it's a cosmic ray system. And he said that this is the promised. This is the time that he promised, 2026. and he will deliver in 2026. That's why they're ready to start. I think in a month time, they're gonna start. Yes, and this system, as you heard, it will cover everything: gas, electric, it will cover traveling, it will cover everything you need, you're gonna get from this system. So it's really exciting time. I wish I knew. So even if you're a very good knowledge seeker and you've been practice with Ganses and you're top in what you do, they're looking for you as well. So here is where I wish I would be a scientist. Anyway, I'm not, so I will have to wait my time when if they ever need me. So so Mr. Cash, after the second part, after the announcement, he go into this question that you just heard, the question about the frequency, and for me it was very interesting because as you heard, he's going to explain what frequency are, but I never thought about there are different type of frequency, and he said that up to now we just measure the frequency outside of the system, not inside. So, and for me, was again give me the vision of the skin. Have you present the three layer of the skin? So you got the outer layer, they interact with the outside, and then you have the inner layer, they interact with the inside, you know, and the middle layer. Sorry, middle layer. So and for me, it's again the same thing. So even with the frequency, it seems like you got frequency where you interact with the outside, and you have frequency, plasma frequency, where we don't, when up to date, we don't have any system to measure them. So all the frequency we are talking about, from my understanding of this workshop, are just frequency that we have machinery that dealing with the environment, and he done it different time in this draw, and he talk about in this draw, and talking for example about fear, talk for example about love, and if a lot of knowledge is given there from Mr. Cash. So for example, he drew the skull, and he said it's very important to know the structure, and from the structure and the position, you kind of know which is function. So for example, he make example on saying that, for example, when we fall in love at the physical way, so if you receive a touch, so again, it means you're reacting with the environment, um, you will have a point where the magnetical and the gravitational fields, they will balance each other, and that will be, he make example, that will be around 538 frequencies. I don't know if I say hertz is correct, but frequency. And he give a number, and he said this number, it's fluctuating because you have a range or spectrum of that borderline. So for example, you make the joke, if you're Italian and you're a nation of lovers, your borderline will be more closer to the inside of the skull, towards the center of the skull, this line. But if you are, sorry about this, what Mr. Cash's example, if you're American and you are pro-wars, for you maybe love is a little bit further from the center, and then he said it makes also example of the touch. If someone touching you, you can react in a certain way. Anyway, there is all correlation. What is good for me maybe is not good for you, and it can be that because of your culture, because your belief, you put the limitation, you put the line, but that line that's why it's got a spectrum. And that's why this line going towards the outer the skull, towards the outer, not towards the center. And it's very interesting because he said question where he said, is the frequency, if it's from 0 to 1,000, are we going closer to the creator when we're going towards 0, or when we're going towards 2,000? Are we going closer to the creator when we're going to the center, or when we're going towards the outer. And then he make the example of having fear, no? And he said, for example, the fears. And I think even here there are fears and fears, because there is the fears. It's very interesting. He said, if you look, the fears is you can, as location, you can find it on the outer of the skull. And he just said, why the fear is on the outer of the skull? And he said, the location when is the outer of the skull is because that location, it's helping you because you're dealing with environment. So if you have to feel something to be able to react and having fear to then run. So for example, if your house burning, maybe as soon you feel the heat, so as soon you feel the, I don't know, the smell of the burn or whatever, or that is make you to react with the environment. So for maybe that's why the fear is on the outer side. It's like if it's also said, if the fields are more dense, then you're more close to the material side, so the frequency can become to material. And then if the frequency, if the fields are less dense, then you're more, from my understanding, towards the energy side. So so the outer, as we're moving away from the central of the brain, to me, I understood that they are more denser. But this is what I understood, but maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe Mushfaq gonna enlighten us more. But anyway, very, very interesting on this. There are a lot of questions of why the body it's mapped in the brain in the way it's mapped. And so, for example, from my understanding, also when you will talk about love, so when you receive, because if you think again about the three layer, you got the soul of the man that interacting in one side, interacting with the soul of physicality, and that creating one barrier. So the barrier, for example, that Mr. Cash drew on the middle of the brain for love. And when you make the jokes about the Americans and Italians, they perceive love in two different ways, but it's in the middle of the brain, towards the outer. That because the soul interacting with the soul of physicality, and when the two get in balance, and he also said he has to match with the heart, so he has to match also with the art, that will you fall in love. And when is everything is accepted as a fields, as a balance fields, then you create a new time, so you fall in love and it's beautiful. So but I also was noticed he was saying when the fields comes from the creator to the soul of the man, so you have to think about the direction of the fields. So they're going from outside in, and then when from the soul going from in to out into the environment to materialize, no? So it shows you that maybe to me, when the fields come from the creator, you're going towards the zero, you know. Because he also said there are two different type of love. So there is the love of when you fall in love, but the true love, and it's physical. You physically fall in love with someone. When your heart and your soul of the physicality and soul of the man are all matching and are all accepting their position. But he also said the true love that not many people understand, you don't need physicality. You don't need the confirmation of physicality. So that doesn't need to be material. So that means maybe it's the graphic from the middle to the center. But you don't need a physical confirmation. And that is very important if you want to then translate this into how we transmute and how can we travel, So this has got many facets. So it's very, very interesting things. And or when he said the example, he make another example of this later on. He show another draw where he said that they love why someone asked do we need to reincarnate all the time? Which is the purpose of us reincarnating all the time? How long we have to reincarnate for? And what is all about? And Mr. Keshe explained this about the creator that it creating the reflection of itself that can be us, can be planets, can be anything we see in the material way as to have a feedback. He said, if see as like the creator is like a radar and it brought out a signal. The signal go out and if only when it touch a plane, you will have the reflection coming back, so you will have the signal coming back, confirming there is a plane. That plane is like the soul of the man, confirming back the love of the creator. So see now we see this the interaction, not the soul of the man with the soul of physicality, but the soul of the man with the creator. Yes, so and he said that the creator, you as interacting with the creator, okay, you will take some of this interaction, some interaction, it will stay with you. And it reminded me the workshop past, where Mr. Keshe said, when we talk about the energy level, when something bounces back, it's not like the material level where you losing energy as the things bouncing back from the region to the how you say it, to the border, to the how you say it, anyway to the how you say it, I cannot remember now the word, but anyway, when you come to the end, when you come to the anyway, he said in the
Barrier,
energy.
maybe? Barrier?
Barrier. Oh, God, thank you very much. Barrier. Thank you, Rick. Exactly what I'm saying. When you reach the barrier and the energy level, when you reach the barrier and you bounce back, and this bouncing back is confirm the interaction with the creator, like the plane and the radar, no? In the energy side, you gain energy. And this come another fact that was for me very interesting that I noticed in this workshop, that I noticed in the other workshop, when he said, when the soul of the man reacting with the creator, and by bouncing back this energy, it actually get overly charged, so the soul of the man get more energy. And then when it balance up with the energy of the creator, this barrier disappear. And then he make the example of the stars. It's like a star that finally it become into a black hole. And I thought, wow, okay, so when we interact with the outer, you can call him the outer layer or the outside environment, as we creating as we go into direction from the outer, so we move away from the creator, the balance of the magnetical and gravitational will create a barrier. Can be a plasmatic barrier, can be a wall, can be a shell of eggs, can be a material like gold or whatever, or physical change. But when we interact with the creator, that barrier will actually disappear and we become one as the creator. And for me, wow, that is why we transmute by deciding the direction on where we want to go. So there are lots of stuff that he repeating in many ways to make understand many things. So it's again another mind-blowing workshop. Is so plus he give us the fantastic news of this new unique system that it will be released in 2016, so this year. So we got a lot to do as a knowledge seeker, because we need to support this transition, and soul level, maybe doing soul connection to make sure the old people who are ready for this role that Mr. Keshe looking for at the physical level, these people come up and they email info at keshe.foundation and they will be enrolled straight away, and we got this project going with NASA scientists, all Russian scientists, Chinese from all over the world, all cooperating to make this system being released this year, and also as a knowledge seeker to really understand how to make propagandas and be part of this work. Yeah, it was really good. And another things that I found very interesting is when you said that the container of the hydrogen, it's carbon 14. Oh, I like that. So the barrier that we're creating of the fields bouncing back from the creator, it created this plasma barrier or energy barrier that is the carbon 14. So it was very interesting, all this. We got lots of great questions in the second part. We got a super great question as well from Maranes about enlightenment. And Mr. Cash goes really into what he means from enlightened, that it's goes very well what Mushfaq is saying, to really start to practice, to think out of the box, stretch our mind, really start to be creative, to be able to create. So, you know, we really need to understand that the enlightenment, so the more, so the knowledge is there for us, and we understanding the knowledge is being given to us through our understanding, but we are the one we put in limitation to it. So it's always have a little doubt of what we know is correct, not correct. So can we stretch further? Can we change our beliefs in such a way that we go more online on what we want to create, you know? So so definitely knowledge means enlightenment means go a little bit further, much push ourselves further on what we believes and what we know, and understand that we don't know that we don't know. And as we gain knowledge, uh, we can then change this limitation that we created, and then we can become more enlightened by changing our habit, get rid of a bad habit, and start to think differently, uh, break the habit, basically. Actually, in my work, you need to find everyone have one way of thinking. Few people have two way of thinking, and genius have three way of thinking of doing the same things. So everyone has got habitual way to do one things. Not many people have two way to do the same things. Yeah, okay, so I'm going now to transmutation. So I think I said enough. There is a lot more to say, but I will. He talked about the San Valentine transmutation session, so I hope that went very well. I don't know if some people want to also talk about it. And Merry Christmas to the Happy New Year to the Chinese community. Yeah, go ahead, Mushfaq. I think I said enough.
I think we're kind of late today. I'll skip transmutation, but I'll talk a little bit about what Stefania just talked about. And we won't go into transmutation today because I'm just going to be concise. I mean, we will talk. Actually, the past knowledge seeker workshop was, I mean, fairly dense. So the gift that we got, we'll do some unpacking tomorrow at the plasma reactor group meeting, and there is a lot to talk about. And you know, Stefania said something interesting towards the end. You know, genius needs three things. That means three layers. You know, you have to have all three layers to get things going properly. So it's kind of like the three-layer story again.
Yeah,
But
yeah, because he said you needed to have many people have one way to do everything, no? So everyone will have their habitual way to do stuff.
Yeah, one layer only takes you that far. So you need
Few
three.
people have two different way to do the same things. Genius have three way of doing everything. So it's really fun. I didn't thought about the three layer. Oh God.
But anyway, three layers. But anyway, so let's do a little bit of unwrapping. Maybe we'll talk about a little more about some of these things next time. But I think this is but there's a lot to talk about, especially, there's one interesting thing. Mr. Keshe didn't go too far into it. He said that, well, you have the frequency in the matter state, and then you have the plasma. In the energy state, you have fields. And then there is, he said, we don't think about frequencies in plasma state. And this is where we want to come back. This connects the two sides. And in a way, you can think in terms of inertia, the inertia that Mr. Keshe talks about. So we'll talk about this tomorrow, because it will get a little bit technical, but once we have a little better understanding of it, we can kind of simplify it and present it here. And that will be, presented here in a way that's useful for us to apply. And instead of getting wrapped up in the terms of various aspects of the technology. So I think that's how much I would talk today, but then we'll skip transmutation and go to the needs and wishes. Because of the time, we have been here for a bit longer than usual. So let's try to compress this, and then we'll come back next time. So let's do that.
Good idea. Thank you, Mashfaq. So that does seem to bring us to our needs and wishes part of the program. And we have, I think, 6 needs and wishes to enunciate, and we'll have a 30-second time of silence after each of them. I don't have a list of anybody in particular.
Yeah, I think we start with Stefania.
You guys will have to improvise.
I think the first one's Stefania, but if not, any of us can do it. The first one.
I think we can go forward.
Yeah, I think the first one is your name is, with that one, but
Shall I read this one? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, with the Universal Council, give from our soul for protection of those living with a fear in natural disaster areas. And our soul wishes to help to cover all the emotional and physical needs.
I think, Mark, this one is your name associated with this.
I think Mark is not present anymore.
Okay, then I will say it. We, the Universal Council, elevate the soul of the why I can't see it because of the lights there. Okay, let's see. Leaders and the population throughout the American continent to live in harmony, respecting each nation as equal. This one is for Mehran. If you're there.
Don't believe so. I think it's only you and Stefania left at this
All right,
point.
I'll say it. We, the Universal Council, give freely our soul to elevate the soul of the leaders to achieve peace in the Middle East now. We, the Universal Council, elevate the souls of the leaders involved in the conflicts in Sudan and other areas only by greed, with unconditional love and the inner peace. Okay, let's see. This is the inner peace. Our respect for the lives of all the population because they are sovereign and free. Stefania, this one is for you.
Yeah. With the Universal Council, give through our soul that Russia and Ukraine can find peace for the sake of all the families of the planet.
We, the Universal Council, give from our soul collectively to protect all the world and Iran from all evil. All right.
We're here to serve, not to be served. The Universal Council.
Okay, thank you, Stefania and Mashfaq. I think that brings to an end our workshop for today. Get the background image up here.
Well, Stefania, you have to do all the songs and dance. You know, you're closest to Shweta we have got today.
I think you are the most. A lot of Italian people sing all the time, but I cannot do.
Yeah, so do your best,
Shweta can be. You cannot replicate Shweta when she's unique.
Yes, she has her certain enthusiasm that she adds at their end here normally. But first, let me announce that that this is the end of the 418th One Planet, One Nation, One Race for Justice and World Peace here on Tuesday, February 17th. And our next public teaching workshop will be the Keshe Plasma Reactor Group, which will be tomorrow, Wednesday, February 18th. And that starts at the 7 a.m. Central European Time. We usually go for several hours of discussing and showing things of the plasma nature. And the public is invited to attend that if you like. If you have something to show in particular or some questions, that's a good place to do that. And we have the Knowledge Seekers Workshop coming up on Thursday, as far as we know, starting at 9 a.m. as per usual with Mr. Keshe. Okay, I think
Happy New
that's
Year
it.
to the Chinese group.
Yes, indeed.
Chinese New Year.
Okay, Happy New Year. And I think that's it for announcements, and we can go out with in our usual manner.
Yeah, this is the good things to have to be worldwide because we got many New Years. We got 3 New Years so far.
We broadcast in all of them. No holiday is sacred to us, in a way. And we've always broadcast the Knowledge Seekers Workshop on every holiday, including Christmas, New Year's, and everything in between.
Thank you, everyone, to be attending today. Thank you.
And thanks to all the members and support members of the Universal Council for being here today to present the workshop and to encourage us to continue in the way of the soul and the teachings. All right, we'll go out with the Flight Enhancement Spaceship Unit now, and we can dance and clap our way into the day or out of the day, depending on which part of the planet you are positioned in. And let me read one comment that I should read about the game from Guillaume here, who says, "For me, the game represents the liberation of the planet. When I get a treasure in a country, is to position the liberation of that country." And they go on to further say, let's see it here. For me, the game represents the liberation of the planet. When I get a treasure chest in a country, I position love and peace in that treasure. From Mrs. Radadi. Okay, thank you for that. And now we go out with our clapping and dancing. And bye for now, everyone.